The Warburg Institute Library grew out of the personal library of the Hamburg scholar Abi Warburg. In 1921, his library was turned into a more open research institution in the so-called science of culture, Kulturwissenschaft, and both its historical scope and its activities as a center for lectures and publications were expanded. In 1933 it moved from Germany to London to escape the Nazi regime, and in 1944 it was incorporated in the University of London. It is now a member institute of the university's School of Advanced Study. The aim of the library is not to cover any one discipline exhaustively, but to bring as much information as possible from as many different sources to bear on specific problems. The 350,000 or so volumes are classified in 4 sections: image, art history; word, language and literature; orientation, religion, science and philosophy; and action, social and political history. Warburg's interests are often described in terms of the significance of the ancient world for early modern humanity, but they ranged much further, encompassing the circulation of energies, tensions, ideas and images across time and space, as well as the relationship between primitive and abstract thinking. He defined his broader project as a historical psychology of human expression. In this context, the library's classification system, developed with the assistance of Fritz Sachse and Gertrud Bing and refined by their successors, sought to represent and expound this broad and ambitious approach. The library's finely tuned classification system, covering most human activities, was designed to lead from the visual image, as the first stage in human awareness, to language, and then to religion, science and philosophy, all products of humanity's search for orientation, which influence patterns of behavior, rituals and actions, the subject matter of history. Warburg had come to see the civilizations of the ancient Mediterranean as the source of these persistent images which direct and haunt the Western mind. They live on in our civilization, much as memory images live on the individual's mind, and it was for this reason that Warburg placed the word Mnemosyne, memory, on the entrance of his library. In most sections, books are classified thematically, with primary sources followed by secondary studies. The arrangement is often chronological, as well as, where appropriate, by geographical area. In this way, by browsing the shelves, one can very quickly assess how a discipline changed over the centuries. The geographical arrangement tends to follow a pattern starting from Italy, France, Spain and Portugal, moving north towards the Low Countries, Britain and Germany, and when appropriate, extending eastwards as far as Asia and Oceania. The focus on Renaissance Italy, characteristic of the work of Warburg and of many of the scholars associated with the Institute, means that the culture of Renaissance Italy is accorded particular importance. Many sequences begin with bibliographies, Festschriften and collected essays. Those are usually followed by thematic sections dealing with questions specific to the discipline they represent. The core collection in 1933, mainly assembled by Warburg, was about 60,000 volumes. The library's holding are now around 350,000 volumes, with annual acquisitions averaging about 3,500 books, including many gifts and bequests from scholars who have used the library and contributed to its collections, donating both their own works and those which they owned. Among the most notable of these are Franz Boll, Margaret Gibson, Albinia de la Mare, Robert Pring Mill, Francis Yates, D.P. Walker, Ernst Gombrich, Charles B. Schmidt, Enriqueta Harris, Nikolai and Ruth Rubinstein. The books of the late Elizabeth David, a distinguished cookery writer credited with introducing Mediterranean cookery to post-war Britain, have significantly enlarged the library's section on banqueting. Also worthy of mention is the collection of several hundred volumes on the early modern history and colonial expansion of Portugal, presented by the Portuguese Ministry of Culture.